Apple announced Apple Intelligence at WWDC 2024. It's named for a new suite of AI features on the iPhone, Mac, and more. Starting later this year, Apple's going to roll out what it says is a more conversational Siri, custom AI genmojis. Oh boy, the emoji thing is just like, okay, anyway. And GPT 4.0 access that lets Siri turn to OpenAI's chatbot when it can't handle what it is you ask for. The company that once refused to use the term artificial intelligence when talking about its machine learning features is now, as best we can tell, catching up with just about all the table stakes features that Google, Microsoft, and others have rolled out in the last year. The company says the AI features will be available only on the iPhone Pro, 15 Pro Max, iPads Max with M1 or later chips. In other words, you got to buy a new phone, folks.
Of course you do.
Of course, right? Then the article goes on to talk about some of the new features that Siri is going to have and some of the things. I think the coolest thing to me, and I would love to get your take on this, the coolest thing for me were sort of the, I guess what it calls intent sort of ideas where you go, hey, open up the podcast that my wife sent me an email last night, right? Where it will basically look to your email. It knows who your wife is. So it pulls that email, finds the link, and opens up that particular podcast. I think it's that, to me, having that level of assistant in on a device is what we've all been waiting for. I think it's the coolest thing. It's the thing that Siri doesn't do right now. So I don't know. What do you think?
You know, at first it's funny because I was actually out golfing when Apple was doing this presentation, and I was golfing with Paul Reitzer, who's maybe one of the leading AI experts in the world. And we were listening to it in between shots as we were playing a scramble. And we were both commenting on there's nothing that we didn't expect here. Like there's no big, huge announcement. I mean, everything was sort of predictable, I thought, and maybe things that should have been, but maybe that's the brilliance about it. It's just things that now it's sort of this AI assistant, if you will, is baked into the phone. Of course, you have to get the new phone, which I hate. I hate that whole thing. I hate what they did with the battery, and I hate what what they do with this, because I want to try out. I've got a 12 or something like that. I won't be able to use any of these things, and I definitely want to. I want to use the new photo features, which I think are incredible, which Google's had for a while. They're now adding those photo features. But the fact that if I can, for example, I go running with my AirPods, and there are some things that I want, if I want to open a different app or I want to move to a different type of music, let's say it's not in my playlist or whatever. It's very hard to find some of these things. Sometimes Apple doesn't understand me and I'm running. I get very frustrated. It seems that all these things will be solved because Apple knows I'm running. Apple knows I can't stop and open it. They can go and open another app, which they can't do right now. I don't know. They're going to make my life easier, I'm assuming. And maybe this is how it happens, right, Robert? It's just like when you now have almost everyone on Earth using these AI tools, it's just going to become almost like we talked about. Every software will have AI in it, and you won't be able to tell the difference between what is AI and what isn't AI. Yeah. I think this happens with our devices as well.